Adam Kinzinger, I know, Congressman, is on the phone right now. We're glad that you are safe. If you could tell us what you are experiencing right now and what did you go through throughout the day?
It's a disaster. I mean, look, it's, I was on the floor, and when I saw this kind of building, look, I have been warning for weeks of violence on the 6th. It's part of the reason I've been so outspoken because of this coming. So I went back to a different location that I won't say, and I've been riding it out there. But I'll tell you, the scene here is sad. This is a sad, sad day. I've never seen anything like this. I've seen protesters try to breach the Capitol before, and to watch, some clown sitting in the seat on the Senate, like it's, some fourth grade thing. It's a complete disaster, and there is absolutely going to be a real stain from this day.
We were speculating about how someone might breach the Capitol building, but I understand from Clarence Page that some windows were broken. They were breaking out the windows and climbing through the windows to get in, correct?
Yeah, and I think so. And I'll tell you, if you look at Twitter, at what's been even trending on Twitter, people have been talking about this for weeks. They're calling it the equivalent of 1776. Why? Because, you don't like your tax rates? That's why you have a 1776 moment? It's a complete disaster. The president bears a ton of responsibility for convincing people that Congress can somehow magically change an election, which we know is false, and leaders bear responsibility for going along with it because they didn't have the courage to tell people the truth.
Congressman, you used some strong language on Twitter in describing what we're seeing here, and I just wonder if now, 40 minutes after you tweeted that, if you still feel the same way or stronger. You used the word coup.
Yeah, I think it is absolutely a coup attempt. I mean, if we were watching these things happen, if we were seeing protesters occupy a Capitol, if we were seeing the things that were being said in any other country, it would be a coup attempt. That's what this is. Now, it won't succeed, of course, because the guardrails of the democracy are strong. Law enforcement is brave. But that's what this is. And quite honestly, when we get past this kind of low level on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs of survival, there's going to be real, I think, hell to pay in certain leadership circles.
Congressman, it's been reported that a request for National Guard to come out has been denied by the Department of Defense. Can you shed any light on that? Is that what you hear? Do you know it to be different?
I've heard the same thing. I've heard that it's just now been agreed to be deployed. The National Guard actually should have been here yesterday because, like I said, I knew this was coming. I don't have any special access to anything. I'm glad they're finally coming, but the president runs the National Guard of D.C. That is the only place the president has command and control without federalizing them. And so to finally do it is good. But the damage has been done. I mean, we're going to walk through the Capitol and see stuff broken, destroyed, disrespected, this people's house that is the only thing that has separated us from other countries. We have a lot of work to do to restore it. We will restore it, but this is absolute clown show.
And for people who don't understand the political price that's been paid by people who go against President Trump and who have called this for what it is, which is basically an attempt by some in the Republican Party to provide false hope that the election would be overturned. You've actually, over the last few weeks on Twitter, been doing a point-by-point takedown of the arguments, and you're getting a ton of backlash, aren't you?
I am. And, look, I don't know if it'll be vindicated because of this or not. I don't do it for any political reason, but it's the reason I became a Republican, and the thing I take into account every day I come to Congress is the defense of this country, the precious institutions that are fragile. And I got a ton of backlash. I get death threats. I get called a Democrat because, I somehow believe that Joe Biden won an election. This is the result of placating the garbage conspiracy theories we've been hearing. And it's time for us as Americans, and especially as Republicans, to wake up, see the damage we're doing, and actually really think again about what our oath is and stop using it as a prop and actually use it as a guiding light.
Congressman, I don't know if you can answer this question. It's Paul Lisnick again. One of the purposes of today may have been to delay, to stop these proceedings from going on, even though the law requires that they happen today on January 6th. Is it your sense that, assuming this is put down, ended somehow today, tonight, does Congress go back to business tomorrow and continue with this proceeding? What sense do you have about that?
Yeah, look, the People's House will always survive, and we will. Whether it's in a damaged Capitol building or somewhere else, we will. And by the way, anybody now that objects to this, it was despicable prior to this. Now, if you still have people objecting, that's disgusting.
Congressman, I wonder if you could talk about the contrast between the president holding a rally and really galvanizing his supporters this morning, and then an hour later, here they are outside the Capitol building, and now he's saying everyone must be peaceful. Eric Trump, in fact, just tweeting, prosecute all of these people, anyone that crosses the line.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the president owns this. For 4 years, he's been misleading people. And then, the difference and the thing that I'm so aggressive about is, prior to this, it's issues and tone, right? Issues and tone are one thing. But after this, it's undermining the very underpinnings of democracy. And so for him to have given people false hope that want him to be president, for him to say it was stolen, for all this stuff, it's expected. This is what we see, and then to stand up in front of a crowd today is a disaster.
Congressman, I wonder if you could talk about your colleagues and the experience that you had there, because we're looking at some pictures where they were hovered, underneath the desks there. Now we're looking at some of the protesters on the floor here. But talk about your colleagues and how people handled this, because I have to imagine with guns drawn and windows breaking and the Capitol building breached, there had to be a lot of fear there. What was the situation? Was it chaotic? Was it calm?
So I kind of saw this happening before it really happened. So I left the House floor and went to a different location where I'm at now. My friends that were there, it was frightening, right? I mean, you had guns drawn. You had the police basically retreat into a position of protecting members. They were throwing escape hoods on, which exists like one of those like doomsday things. And so I hope, I'm glad everybody's safe. I hope this wakes people up to what we have fed for so long.
From a practical perspective, Congressman, what happens now for those Republicans, including Senator Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley of Missouri, who have said that they are, going to lead the effort to object? Is there any, given these scenes unfolding right now, is there any way that effort proceeds?
Well, they need to find constitutional Jesus, and then I hope that this leads to their, the end of their short-lived presidential aspirations that they've been giving people false hope to try to feed. But I don't know. I've been surprised in good and bad ways out here. All I know is my mission is singular, and that is to restore the GOP to a party that doesn't feed evil and instead simply tries to inspire people to a better future. That's it.
Congress, I just want to take you back in time for a little bit. Curious, we talked earlier about the fact that the Capitol Police is trained for this. They're drilled for this. Ever since 9/11, there's a lot of procedures. Did you have a sense when this began that you all were, was there a calmness, a procedure that seemed to be in place for handling everybody who was in the chambers?
No, I'll actually say that I think a lot of people were kept in the dark. And when we game time this at the end, I think that's going to be something that comes out of it. How did this happen? How come people were kind of left in the dark? I was talking to colleagues that didn't even know that they had breached the perimeter because, they were continuing with debate on the House floor. And so, it's obviously going to take a lot of looking back and figuring out how to do it different. It's a tightrope we walk because it is the people's house. We want to have access to the people's house. At the same time, you can't have a situation like you see in Belarus in the United States of America.
Congressman, pardon me for one moment. I want to report some breaking news here. President Trump has, in fact, called in the National Guard and other federal law enforcement officials to help at the U.S. Capitol after his supporters, of course, had stormed the building. That's according to the White House press secretary. So we had been reporting that the National Guard was not going to go in and help, but just now the president has ordered that the National Guard go in to help. Capitol Police, D.C. Police, and Virginia's governor is sending law enforcement as well to help out in these efforts.
And so far, we understand one person has been shot. We don't have any great detail on that yet. And perhaps, Adam, do you have any more on that?
No.
Injuries on your end? Not at all.
No, I don't. I tell you, though, for a while, and I had to shut my window, but for a while I was hearing a lot of booms. I assume, whether they were tear gas canisters or flashbang grenades, but there was certainly quite a bit of less than lethal weaponry being deployed, and that was even both before and during and after the Capitol was breached.
I know for many months you've expressed concern about the state of the Republican Party and its future, as it's been dominated for the last 4+ years by President Trump. I wonder what you think this does for our ability to have an honest two-party debate about significant issues that needs to be had. I wonder if today gets held over the Republicans going forward, and whether or not that's a concern. You've been one out there saying, hey, we need to get back to our roots.
Yeah, I think it will certainly have an impact. I certainly think if hardcore supporters of President Trump think this is going to somehow solidify his leadership of the party, that was wrong. And I think there needs to be a serious internal fight, basically, to restore the GOP to what we need to be. This is just not what anybody who ever became a Republican ever signed up for.
Well, and that's been the ongoing debate, right? Is this a party of Trump or is this the GOP? And I think you are making a clear argument that it doesn't represent the party that you knew.
That's right. That's right. I think, the bottom line is this is not the party we knew. This is a party that is not right now driven by principle. It's driven by a personality. And I think, this is going to be a real wake-up moment and one that we need to have. And we'll have some time to deal with it. But right now, we just got to restore order to the people's house, which I never imagined I'd have to say in my life.
Congress, I know that a lot of congressmen had their staffers. They wanted them in place by 9 a.m., don't park on the street, that kind of thing. Did you or any other congressman, to your knowledge, give staffers the day off today, saying maybe it's best you not be around?
Yeah, actually, I did. I'm the only one in the office. My staff is teleworking, and I started that actually yesterday with them. So I have no staff here, which is good, because it's nothing anybody should have to live through.
And were you escorted back to your office, or did you just make it back there on your own?
I made it back prior to all that happening because I saw it happening. So I've been pretty much hunkered down for a while, and I don't plan to move anytime soon.
We're hearing now from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer calling on President Trump to demand that all of the protesters leave the U.S. Capitol and the Capitol grounds immediately. The president has tweeted several times that he wants people to be peaceful, but has not told people to disband specifically.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to. He fed this. And if he says, look, the election's over, Biden won, I was grifting you, and I was, for my own personal, because I don't like to admit defeat, telling you something else, you shouldn't have stormed the Capitol, I think they'd leave. I mean, these are people that are fiercely loyal to him. But right now, I've just seen nothing but, childish, weak tweets. And this is a guy that certainly knows how to tweet strongly.
Congressman Adam Kinzinger, Republican from Channahon, I know you've got to go. Thank you so much for being with us and providing your perspective of what's unfolding right now live in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Thanks, guys.